Credibility is everything for all immigration applications. Applications and supporting materials have to be complete. They have to be truthful and accurate and consistent. A dear client shared with me the other day that there are asylum applicants who are afraid to correct or update their asylum application because their attorney or case writer has told them not to because it will make more problems. When my client told me this, I was shocked and I was disappointed, but I was more than anything scared for these applicants who may believe that they can't update or correct their applications. So I'm Lindsay Wilkes. I'm an attorney at a light legal immigration law firm in Washington, D.C., where we help clients around the country before both USCIS and the immigration courts to win their asylum cases. Every Tuesday at 6 p.m., we provide information about immigration cases live on Facebook and YouTube, and we welcome your questions. Tonight, we're talking about the importance of making sure that your asylum application is accurate and complete, and how to make updates or corrections if you need to do that. So nothing, and I mean nothing, is more important than your credibility in an asylum interview or in an asylum hearing. No matter how good your story is, no matter how strong your evidence is, the officer or judge cannot and will not approve your case if they don't believe you, or if they find inconsistent information that just doesn't add up. And what this means is that you have to give them the full and truthful story. You have to give them the full and truthful information, even if it's information that you do not think really impacts whether or not you qualify for asylum or not. All of your information is important, and it's important for everything to be consistent. So first, review your application. Never sign a form that you have not been reviewed. You need to be very involved in the process of filling out and reviewing your asylum application before you sign it. I've seen and I've heard many examples of attorneys or case writers or notarios who have left out important information. Some have added false information, and some have just accidentally included the wrong information. So if your application has been filed already, you need to pull out your application and review it word for word. Review every question, review every answer, make sure that everything has been filled out correctly, and make sure every part of every question has been addressed. If you haven't filed your application yet, then demand that you have the opportunity to review it word for word before you sign the final version that is sent to immigration. Now, it's the same with your personal statement. Review every word a few times. No one is perfect, and mistakes happen, but sometimes people are actually breaking the law on purpose. And whichever problem we're dealing with, we need to make sure that the correct information gets on the record. So my client told me something so disturbing. He said that he has friends whose attorneys have them too scared to correct or fix their applications because they've told them that it will be denied if they have to make updates or corrections. If your attorney or anyone has told you not to update your story or your application with true information, then you need a new attorney. They are not protecting you, they are protecting themselves. And this information has me so upset. You can probably tell from my effect, but this is really upsetting to me that this is happening. So if your story is not complete, or if it includes information that is not true about your case, you have to know about it, and you have to update the record with the asylum office or the immigration court. So does it affect your credibility to make corrections and fix the information? Yes, it does. It makes you more credible, and it makes you more believable. I've had several clients hire me who had bad information or wrong information in their asylum materials because of bad advice, and then we worked together to correct the information, to fix the record, and win their case. If they had not corrected the record, or if their asylum have not provided the updated correct information, their asylum claim would not have been complete, or the decision maker would likely have caught them in a lie for trying to force this story, which wasn't theirs, or found inconsistencies. So it's really important that you review everything, that you take control of your case, and that you update the record. So how do you update your I-589 application or your materials if it's already filed with USCIS or with the Immigration Court? There are a few ways that you can update your materials. The easiest option is just to update it at the asylum interview or to update it at your court hearing. However, some updates and some corrections actually require a timely addition or timely correction to preserve your eligibility. So that means you may need to do it well in advance of your interview or well in advance of your court hearing in order to protect yourself, in order to make sure that your full claim can be considered because it was timely filed and because it was timely updated. Some information, like I said, isn't that important, and it can just, or all information is important, but the timing may be okay at the interview or the hearing, but some information really needs to be updated immediately. So if you're in that situation, talk to an attorney who can help you decide strategically and legally what is going to protect you and your case the best. So you also may be able to, at the interview, but also you may want to file something early. If it's at the interview or the court hearing, sometimes we just do that verbally, and then sometimes we provide a written addendum or written updates so that it's shown in the record. Really depends on what your situation is and what needs to be updated in order to decide what's the best strategy or what's the best thing to file. So if you have incorrect information, well, first, you may not know that you have incorrect information in your asylum application or your materials. So take control of your case, make sure that you know what's there, and review. Review your application form, review your personal statement, review everything that applies to your case. If you find mistakes, update them before it's filed. However, if it has been filed, then you need to take the steps to update those mistakes. And if anyone has led you to believe that it was okay to leave out information, if they've scared you from updating the information, if they've told you to add information that's not yours, please reach out for another opinion. Go to someone else who is going to be looking out for you and for your safety, and not whatever weird reason they are trying to influence you to do the wrong thing or to influence or to scare you out of correcting the record. The government trains the officers and judges to catch inconsistencies or catch when people are acting weird and aren't necessarily, when they think they're not telling the truthful story or leaving out important details. So it's really important that you try to do this all correct from the beginning, and then if it's not correct later on, update it. And updating and fixing the mistakes, again, will only increase your credibility and help you, and it's not going to harm you to be truthful and provide the correct information. So if anyone has any questions, please feel free to put those in the comments. I will do my best to address those. And we have one question. What about us? Like it already submitted. So this is an excellent question. I think this happens a lot. Applications are submitted frequently with sometimes just mistakes, but also sometimes with information that maybe the attorney or case writer or notario took from someone else's case and accidentally put it onto yours. Or they just said, hey, you know what? You've told me your story. I'm going to fill out the application. And then they file it without you reviewing it. It's really quite common. And when that happens, again, you can correct the record. You can correct the mistakes and fix the inconsistencies. And that may be done prior to your interview or your court hearing by writing or in writing, or depending on what it is, it may be okay just to wait until your actual interview or court hearing. The type of thing that is really important to update immediately is if an important part of your case was completely left out that affects your eligibility. So for example, I've had many women, female clients whose attorneys or case writers have filed their case based on political asylum, and they never talk to them about female genital mutilation, which qualifies them for asylum, and it should have been included from the beginning. And also things like domestic violence, or there may be some other things that the attorney just didn't cover and they didn't include in the application. To preserve your eligibility based on the one-year filing deadline, once you realize that a whole part of your claim was left out, then you really need to update the record so that you can say, hey, I received bad legal advice, or this was a mistake and it should have been included, so please update my case. So depending on what it is that was left out, depending on what it is that was provided, you may want to do it right away, or it may be okay to do it at the asylum interview itself. Hopefully that answers your questions, Amy. If you have a more specific question, please feel free to send that to us privately and I can get back to you on that. So hopefully this information is helpful. Again, I was really sad to hear when my client shared with me that there were asylum seekers who were scared to update their materials because an attorney or a case writer has told them that it actually may hurt their case rather than help it if they update it. But again, credibility is everything. Your case will not be granted if it's not truthful. Your case is not going to be granted if the asylum officer believes that you're not telling the truth. And so it's very important that you review everything and that you make sure that the information that's provided is your story, that it's true, it's complete, and that it's accurate. Okay, everyone, I don't see any other questions. Thanks for everyone who have joined. Thanks for all of you who watch afterwards. Please feel free to send us questions if you have them about immigration in the US, and we will try to address those on our weekly Tuesday Facebook Live and YouTube Live videos. And okay, one more thank you. You're welcome, everyone. I hope you all have a wonderful evening, and we'll see you next Tuesday. Bye.